Use this one, this one, this one. All right, are we ready, brother Osama?
You want this closer or
Huh?
is this fine here? Or
Yeah, that's okay. Closer if you want. Is it okay? خلاص, leave it. That's for you. Microphone.
No, no, it's okay.
It's okay.
Anyone else we're waiting for?
No, I think everybody's here. Yeah.
Okay, we'll
We've got
start.
Ramadan and Fatima online.
Okay. We'll start inshallah. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillah, rabbil alamin, wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah. Jazakallah khair everyone for attending this special meeting, inshallah, an introduction. On behalf of Reed Foundation, I'd like to welcome Dr. Hani to visit us here at Reed Foundation. I think this is the first time he's really visited Reed Foundation. I know he's visited the building many times, a number of times over the years, but this is the first time he's visited Reed Foundation. We're very thankful for his time. His time is very precious for some of the things that he's involved in, and we'll discuss those later. But just a very quick, and I do mean quick, introduction, because we'll be here for a long time. If we went into a lot of the accolades and the achievements that Dr. Hani has, through by the grace of God, managed to achieve in his life. So very briefly, as I said, and quickly, Dr. Hani originally is from Egypt. He's a medical doctor by profession. He came to the UK in the 70s, and he is one of the founders, or the main founders, of Islamic Relief, which is the largest Muslim relief charity in the Western world. It's a very interesting story, but the success of Islamic Relief started with the donation of 20 pence by his nephew by the name of Basim.
Oh, he's studying.
Yeah, by the name of Basim.
And you know his name. He's a professor now.
He's a professor, mashallah. He was a young boy who had money saved for some chocolate, but when Dr. Hani came back and he had all his family around, he was explaining to them about the challenges that was taking place in Africa, in Sudan and the whole of Africa, Ethiopia, etc., during Live Aid and those days. And instead of saving that money for chocolate, he was the first ever person who made the first ever donation to the equivalent of 20 pence. And that's how Islamic Relief started. And alhamdulillah, now Islamic Relief, as you know, is a household name in the Western world. Dr. Hani, since moving on, Islamic Relief has set up many other organizations. Zakat House is one of them. He set up the Humanitarian Forum, which is now the World Humanitarian Action Forum. MashaAllah, he received Order of the British Empire, OBE, for his services to charitable work around the world. He's extensively traveled. Myself being in the charity sector since '95, I've always seen Dr. Hani as an inspiration. Sometimes I used to see him in China, as far as China, sometimes in Africa. He's traveled more than 80 countries around the world. So just on a personal level, when my son was 14, I bought him this book.
The second edition should be coming soon.
Okay, so, mashallah, he's a salesman as well.
So it is Cube who was
Still
publishing
Cube.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So they take the money.
So I bought my son this book just as role models as children are growing up. So he was 14 at the time. Yusuf, now mashallah, he's 25. So now I'm gonna hand this book to my daughter who's 14, but inshallah I'm gonna get Dr. Hani to sign it and put a little message in as well for her, Khadija. So Dr. Hani, subhanallah, what he's managed to achieve is so much, and I think the inspiration is that when someone is dedicated to something and really makes that the focus of their life in achieving something, they can achieve so much. But just one thing that I would like to mention, and if I can describe Dr. Hani in a few words, is what's on this book, really. And I think I'll just finish with this because there's a lot more that can be said, but I want to give the floor to Dr. Hani, is that the description in this book, and it was something that I wanted to instill in my son when he was 14, is when I read this. And the description is Dr. Hani al-Banna, a servant to the world's poorest people. And I think this is something that embodies him and it's something that we should also, look at this statement, a servant to the world's poorest people. So I'll finish on that note. I'll hand it over to Dr. Hani, and then we can have a question and answer. But just before Dr. Hani speaks, what I would like to do for Dr. Hani's benefit is if we can very quickly go around the room and just please give your name, how long you've been at Reed, and what your role is within this organization. Jazakallah khair.
I've been in Reed for the last 10 years. I've been employed by you.
I've got one, thank
I
you.
say,
You're a volunteer, yeah?
I volunteer.
Assalamualaikum, Dr. Sab. Mohammed Iqbal, Operations Department. I've been with Reed since 2010 or 11. 10 or 11.
Assalamu alaikum, my name is Mohammed Lamba. I'm the donor care manager here. I've been with Reed for about a month and a half, but prior to that I was with Human Appeal for 5.5 years.
Assalamu alaikum, Omar, working in the donor care department as well. Just been in Reed over a year.
Assalamu alaikum. Osama Tahboob, Systems and Data Developer. I've been in Reed Foundation for 2.5 years now.
Assalamu alaikum. I'm Fraz. I've been at Reed for 3 years. I'm the marketing officer.
Umar, I work in finance. I've been here for a year and a half.
I'm Sarah, the office coordinator. I've been here for about 5.5 years.
I'm Annie. I work in program partnerships, and I've been here about 10 months.
Very good.
Assalamu alaikum. Rizwan, been here for 5 years, working in the marketing department.
Hi, Dr. Hani. I'm Anushka. I'm a programs officer and I've been here just a year now, nearly, next week.
I'm Asia. I work in data support. I've been working for it for a year as an employee. I was freelancing before that. No, that's it.
Assalamu alaikum. I'm Mubin Mukhtar. I'm finance manager and I've just completed 5 years at Reed.
Assalamu alaikum. I'm Ashraf. I've been here almost 3 years now and I work in programs.
Hi, I'm Intia. I've been with Reed coming to a year as well. I'm programs manager.
No, got it, thank you. So I'm Javeria Hashmi and I'm the Deputy CEO at Reed Foundation. I've completed a year and 2 months.
Very good, very good. So, Alhamdulillah wa sallallahu ala Rasulullah. I'm very happy for one thing, not because I came to Reed, but because I saw you. I see you now, young. I believe in young people, but I'm younger than you. Can challenge me in the time, in the power, in the strength, in the mindset, in the vision, in the experience. You make it. If you don't make this, you can't be a leader. If you don't allow the time to develop you, you can't be a leader. If you don't go for the challenges and face it, you can't be a leader. If you don't read and learn, you can't be a leader. If you don't communicate and connect, you can't be a leader. If you don't listen and comprehend, you can't be a leader. If you don't bend your back to the community and to the right holders, don't ever say that they are beneficiaries. You know how you look at my eyes now? I'm angry. My finger on my index finger pointing at you. Never anymore call the people who pay our salaries as beneficiaries. The fund coming to Reed is their money, which becomes our salary. They are the right holders. If they are happy, Allah gives them money. If they are not, Allah won't. Okay? If you want to be a leader, if you really want to be a leader, prepare the second generations of leaders, not the second generations of followers. Followers will be a burden upon any organization, upon any company, upon any government. But leaders will be the change makers. That's if you want to be a leader. We have seen, maybe I was remembering my time with Jangir from the late 80s. How old were you at the time?
Was about 16, 17.
16. When we started the Islamic League Games. In Birmingham, I loved the shanty towns. I loved the, what do you call it? Not the elegant area or the high class area. From such an area, great individuals came out. Diamond and pearls came out from this area. Spark Hill, Spark Brook, Alan Brook, and others. Don't ever and never look at me because I live in a poor area that I don't have a brain, don't have a vision, I don't have ability, don't have power. We are all equal. Most of the disciples of Jesus were not kings or queens or professors. Is that right? Yes? Most of the companions of the Prophet ﷺ were either servants, slaves, or poor people. But they made the difference because they believed. Have the heart to enable each one of us to make the change. Have the belief in your heart which enable you to move mountains. Eidi Foundation. You know Abdul Sattar Eidi? After the division of India or the separation of Pakistan, 1947, you were celebrating it a month ago or 2 months ago, is that right?
August.
His mother died because of there was no ambulances in the newly born Pakistan. He was a salesman, door to door, not educated like all of you. Did not have the privilege like any one of you. But he had an idea to try to prevent others from dying because of the lack of ambulances. And they created the Eidi Foundation in 1951. Who was Abdul Sattar Eidi? Somebody definitely in education far more less than any one of you in this room, in knowledge less than any one of you in this room, in social status less than any one of us in this room. But he became Abdul Sattar Eidi because he had an idea and he believed that he can transform it, and it became an institution of tens of thousands of volunteers and employees to work for the Eidi Foundation. Be Abdul Sattar Eidi and be like others. Those people who won the Nobel Peace Prize, are they better than yourselves in social science, in technology, in science and others? They're not different, but they have tried and tried and tried and tried and failed and failed and failed and failed. And when they fail, they try again. When they fail, they try again. They did not stop trying. That's why they became distinctive and they became leaders. The disciples of Jesus, peace be upon him, the companions of Moses, peace be upon him and Jesus, and the companion of the Prophet ﷺ, that we're still remembering all of them. See? That's it. Don't stop. Don't let ever, never ever, let anyone to demotivate you. Don't never ever let anyone to demote you or to suppress you. Be proud of what you have, because what you have is a God-given gift. Discover your talent. We are full of talent. I asked the question, sister, what's her name? The one who made the the beautiful cup of Lady Sarah, the wife of Prophet Abraham. Is that you? The mother of Jacob and Isaac and all those. You know, she was very beautiful. That's why the Egyptian king wanted to attack her.
Yeah.
And whenever he used to touch, Allah sent something to give him electric shock. I said, this woman is a demon. And Prophet Ibrahim alayhi salam took her and went somewhere else. When you come to Egypt, be careful. Especially with the kings of Egypt. That's why the king of Egypt was after you. Anyway, coming back, what I was talking about?
You asked her a question.
Huh?
You were about to ask her a question.
I forgot the question. This is how genius I am. This is how genius should be. You stand on the stage, you want to say something, and something happened, you forgot. So you have to create something else. What else I need to say? Tell me.
Continue your lovely story.
What story?
You were asking her a question that she brought you something.
Don't allow anyone to be motivated.
Yeah. There, that's
Find
right.
your talent.
Oh, find your talent. It's written in the Quran that God has taught Adam all the names of subjects. All the names of subjects. In you, in you, in you, in every one of us. You know what? Because you might know that from the Bible or from the Torah or from the Old Testament or the New Testament or from the Quran, that some of the angels made sujood, prostration for Adam, some didn't, like the devil. But when she's a knowledge, because you are read, isn't it? Because you are read. وَعَلَّمَ آدَمَ الْأَسْمَاءَ كُلَّهَا. Because you are read, and the word allama is educate. You educate. Is that right? He educated Adam all the names of the subject to enable him to establish a tranquil life on earth. Education, which is you, speciality. And all the names of this subject is in every and each one of them genetically coming to us from the time of Adam alayhi salam. You need to discover it. The challenge now is not to sit down to become lazy busy. Jaria, cup of tea, please. No, you make it. You stand up. You do it. That's why Allah has taught Adam, our father, how to learn, then educate, then construct, then build societies. Our life is about construction of lives, easy life for others, not easy life only for ourselves. The knowledge that you have coming from Adam to us is there at the back of our minds. But some of us become clever, discover it, and they become pioneers and discover. Some of us become lazy and they become nothing. There's a difference. Not only that, all the talents are inside us. Why don't you discover it? And this is what you need to give the confidence to the young children in different parts of the world. You are talented. You are knowledgeable. You can do it. Education is not a syllabus. No. Education is a message. Education is a mission. Education is a way of life. Education is to fight corruption, to fight oppression, to establish human rights to every and any one of us. That's education. Education is not a tool just to get a degree, to have a better salary and better life. But education is a way to uplift the community around you and create new leadership. That's education. And when I remember that, and this is something to be one of the things that you can use for the children. The founder of Singapore, I can't remember his name, Kuan Liu, Jazakallah khair. When he became the prime minister, he said, I consider every born child as a talented individual. I have to discover his or her talent or to promote him or her to discover their own talent. So when in Reed deal with the children, they have to see you respecting them and looking at them as the future leaders of their own society in different fields. Don't educate people to get jobs. Educate people to enable them to create jobs for others and to educate others. I gave the example. I had a discussion with one of my children yesterday, no, my daughters yesterday, about business. I tell you about the difference between making money and trade. One of the greatest businessmen from Egypt, he started as an orphan, very poor family in the countryside. His first capital in the 30s was 30 pence, 30 Egyptian pennies at that time. He used to give it to his brother in Cairo to buy some sweets for Eid. And he used to sit in the front of the house, put on Eid day, which is Eid, the word Eid. Sell it, and used to make about 10 pence, 15 pence, and so on. This is how he started at the age of 7. This man, when he died a few years ago, he had a holding group of 15 companies, multi-billionaire, plus factories. You know, when he was asked, what was your job? He said, I trade to sell, not I trade to make profit. I trade to sell, not I trade to make profit. The marginal profit was not very high, maybe 3%, 5%, 6%, because I was looking about how much is the service you are going to provide to the community, and for yourself, how much service you're going to provide to your community, because you talk about education. Education is something that's essential for the life of every being on earth. Even the animals, the birds, the insects, educate their offsprings of how to live and how to protect themselves and how to defend themselves. Education. How to build the nests. You know this? When one of the male birds, I can't remember the name of the birds, used to build the house or the nest for his future wife. What is it? Beautiful. If you look at the nature, planet, or what do you call it? The program.
Animal Planet, Planet Earth.
Yeah. And see, who taught them to keep threading the things to make the nest? Was he an architect? Was he a designer? But he was educated. This is education. Birds, animals, trees talk to one another. The falling leaves. This is the dimension of the lives that God has created in His universe. The communication. Who is in the communication here? You are. Stones speaking to stones. Birds speaking to birds. Communicating, educating, directing. This is your job as Reed. We are not here to fundraise. The easiest thing is what you told me upstairs, raising fund for emergency. صح? The most difficult thing is to educate the community. Difficult more than that is to make community be aware of the surroundings. Most difficult than that is to guide the community to the right direction and build their future with them. Most difficult than that is to empower the community to become leaders. So you are the first step towards building and constructing communities and protecting communities. This is what actually we need to look at you as individuals who are highly talented, with the talent that you have to discover. You could be the most intelligent individual, but you are lazy. Me. I'll do nothing, and I'll be nothing later on. So you have to look at ourselves. What did we leave, or what we are going to leave behind? I will stop because I'd love to listen to you, and you have an open platform to ask any question you want. Any question you want. And I'm open for a challenge, but you have to be open for challenging you as well. Yes, Lady Sarah? Yes, first question, first comment.
Is that a new book coming?
Oh, this is actually Sister Sumadin. She is making the new edition. And maybe at the beginning of next year.
Because this one's quiet.
Yeah. It was not very well publicized. I just left it. Because it's Cube and all the money goes to them. Not. I don't know if I have money. No, I didn't have. Alhamdulillah. But anyway. Yes?
When did you stop practicing medicine?
Definitely. I came here to be a medical, super qualified medical doctor, because I came here as a qualified medical doctor from Egypt. So I finished my doctorate in 1991. I gave up medicine 94, 95. And we started Islamic Relief in 1984. And I was, to be very honest, in a relationship with your mother and your father. It was a dream of my mother to become a doctor. I was like anybody else. To be very honest, I was an average individual. Always failed before succeeding. Always give an average mark in the exam. Sometimes I get good. Very, 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 very rare to get very good mark. But most of my marks are average, 50%, 55%. But failure is in my blood. Even when I want to propose somebody, I've been refused a few times. Alhamdulillah. In spite of the fact I was very handsome when I was young. Not like you, I'm more handsome than you. I failed my my qualification to get the license to work here 5 times. I failed my driving exam 4 or 5 times. That's it. What else you want me to fail? It's enough, huh? Enough failure. So you are talking to the falling man. Yes, sir.
Yourself, in all your various experiences of various projects and programs that you've seen throughout your life, right now where we are in 2023, what do you feel is the greatest need as project-wise around the world globally?
Most important thing now is to understand that none of us can do it alone. No matter how much money we have, no matter how much authority we have. Communication, networking, partnership is the foundation of success. Whether you are a multi-billion organization, or less or more. You cannot do it alone. Now I've got in front of you 2 or 3 examples. The earthquake of Turkey and Syria in February, the earthquake of Morocco in September, and the flood, the storm in Derna. It's not only how much money you raise to send food. People are just going especially to Morocco. We call them disaster tourism. Enough is enough. Stop it. Finished. You embarrass people. When you stand next to the children, stand next to the woman or the people in this area. خلاص, we took the photograph. What we need to do when the camera leaves to build the community? Come back. You don't come back. We need, apart from communication, networking, and partnership, is how to understand how to save and protect the culture and the value of the local communities, not to change the value and the cultures. You have to do that, and the education is there. Education is not one size fits all. It has to be multidimensional. Some education could be according to the local curriculum, but some others could be to respond to the needs of the community itself. Some others could be invented because the community wants that and the good in that, and they don't discover it. So when you keep digging down in the depths of the community, you'll find treasures. Don't ever look at me because I'm wearing no shoes, I'm wearing old clothes, and I don't speak English. I'm stupid. I'm ignorant. No, I'm not. I have knowledge and you have knowledge. Your knowledge and my knowledge could be the same, but in different fields. We developed, I don't like to keep saying I. We developed an acronym with the relationship between local community and the international community. Called FAT KISS. Was the safeguarding? Oh my God, you say KISS. Yeah, I say KISS. You understand what do I mean by KISS? FAT is your role as an international organization. Fundraise, advocate, and train. Don't let international organization to touch the ground of the field. They will spoil it. This is my statement. Because I come with a parachute from London, from Morocco, from whatever it is, from Middle East, Gulf countries, or from New York. I have it. No, you don't have it. This is the FAT. So you provide the fund, you provide the advocacy to protect me, to support me, and the training, because you have the technology. For me, what do I mean by KISS? K is knowledge base. Where is the knowledge? In the community, not in the outside. Where is the innovation? Inside the community. KI. Where is the SCS? Sustainable solution. Home-based. So, you are international. You provide me with the FAT. I provide you with what? He's shy. Knowledge-based, innovative, sustainable solution. This should be the relationship, because the first responder to anything is the local community. The people who have the knowledge are the local community. The people who have the innovation are the local community, because every day their hands and feet are burned.
Okay.
So they will give you the knowledge, the innovation, and the sustainable solution. And you stand up on your platform equally to them. Don't let them to feel that they are inferior to you because you have the money. That's what quite often we say. Oh, I can do this for you. No, we can do it together. Yes, sisters, brothers, we can do it together, not for you. Because each one of us have got his wealth or her wealth. You see, the KISS as an acronym is equivalent to the FAT. Okay? When you use it, give me a discount. Yes. Anybody else? Yes, sister. Wake up.
What's the biggest change you've seen since you started practicing?
Practicing what? Medicine?
No, sorry, not in but since you started working in the sector, yeah.
The sector was more value-based when we started. To be very honest, unfortunately. The technology was less, but the power of the dynamic of the love and the care for such was more. The values were actually actionable. You can see it coming from the speeches, from the action of people who have no time, no money, but they want to work. No resources, but they want to work. No communication, but they want to work. You see, Sister Ashuka? Anushka. It's an East European name.
Yeah, it's Indian, actually.
Oh, Anushka. Yeah, Anushka. Sorry. That's but actually, well, we used to have a great singer in Egypt called Anushka as well, but she was actually from Europe anyway. But anyway, when we used to go to the mosques in the 80s, if we raise £100, we make a party, we celebrate it. When we travel all the distance to the USA during Ramadan and we raise $1,000, it was It was a competition between me, Anwar Khan, and Wasim Yaqub. Each one of us was going to different states. And at the end of the month, who raised fund more? You know, after 25 days of hard working, traveling from a state to a state, you can raise about maybe $20,000. But we were very happy. The effort was there. Now you are sitting on what? But give me this one. Was somebody there? The money comes. We don't see the money. In the good old days, Sister Anushka, what? We used to carry the money. The coins. Kilos. 5 kilo, 10 kilo, 20 kilo. Very happy. The banknotes, very happy. Now we don't see anything. But you look at figures. But the spirit is not the same one. What you need to do, Sister Anushka and Brother Jangir and Sister Juwaria and all of you, to grab those people who lived at this time, to pass the spirit to you before they leave this world. Definitely, many of them left. But still, if there's somebody still alive, you keep grabbing them, sitting them down, extracting not only the knowledge, but extracting the spirit, the values from them. As I was mentioning many times, during the month of Ramadan, all of us, or none of us, mentioned it many times, was from France, Belgium, Holland, or Germany, or USA, or UK, none of us had any iftar at any day with his family for the whole month. Ramadan comes on the first day. That's why you have to credit the wives at home. The role of woman in Islam is crucial. Woman is not and never and will never be a second-class citizen in the house. Got it? Mr. Menz with Z, Menz, M-E-N-Z.
They are men's with a Z.
Brother Menz, never was. The great support for our Prophet ﷺ was from his wife. From the very beginning, she was taking him by hand to introduce him to leaders in the community. And we know that. So the one who suffered most at the time of the creation of the organization were our families, our mothers, not our mothers, our wives especially. Especially who are living in a country that most of the wives did not speak the language. So if you find any success in any man at that time, it's because his wife made a stable family for him. And when you marry your wife, choose the one who builds you. Who builds you. I mean it, who builds you. Not the one who cracks you down. The difference is the value system. And I ask Brother Ngir, Sister Juwaria, and you, go in the community, get everybody or anybody who's still alive from these ages before they leave, to transfer the technology of feeling, the technology of value, the technology of belief I was discussing the thing of the AI. You know AI?
Yeah.
AI, I'm BI, you are CI, he is DI, he is DIY. And I said, I'm not going to use it. You can say, why? You're stupid. I believe in technology, but I don't believe that to use the technology can stop my thinking. If I use the AI to get me a subject, in few seconds or few minutes, maybe whatever it is, I give him the title, come out. This will diminish my intellectual capability because I'll be relying on the AI when I am a DIY. You know the difference between DIY and AI? What's the difference? Can you see my eyes? Go on, speak up.
Do it yourself as opposed to something doing it for you.
That's right. Analyze it yourself. I have to keep using my brain. Keep using my brain. And then we agreed at the end of the day, because I did not know the English name of what I'm saying in Arabic. Create faith-based technology. Value-based technology. Otherwise, technology will be destructive. Self-destructive. If it does not have a faith or value. The one who discovered the nuclear, what they call the nuclear capability, what's his name? Nobel? What's his name? Oppenheimer. It has been used without value to become a nuclear power, or nuclear, what they call it, destructive power. And we have seen the examples of Nagasaki and Hiroshima in Second World War. We're still suffering for the last 70 years. Sometimes we're trying to use it. When you develop anything, put faith into it. We're not saying religion, but faith and value to control it. Life cannot live and become sustainable without faith and value. Was this your question? Or somebody else? Is that because of you I spoke all this? Thank you. Anybody else? Don't be shy. Men's.
I'll go one more.
All right.
Where would you draw the line of where do charities stop and where should charities step in? Where do the government's role in it?
Government.
For example, these disasters that happen and relief work, should charities just jump in straight away, or do we wait for the government to act? Anywhere around the world.
I think for any disaster, the first responder are the local community. The local, maybe mosque, the local church, the local synagogue, the local temple. The local community, anybody. They jump on the response far more faster than any charity coming, especially international charity, or any government organization. This was happened recently in Libya and Jordan. Okay? And we witnessed this. Okay? There should be a relationship between the governments, civil society, and private businesses. But especially the government and civil society organizations. Government should look at the civil society organization as partners. In certain countries, government trying to reduce the civil liberty space, not only of the civil society organization, but of the individuals themselves. The more you shrink the space, the more difficulty you face. Another hashtag? She is hashtagging me. The more you shrink the space, the more difficulty you face. Is that right? Thank you.
Okay, noted.
She'll become mad later on. When will you, if you work with me, you'll resign tomorrow. So this relationship has to be there. The difference between the organization in the West and the organization somewhere else is here they managed to build a system which gave you a decent civil liberty space. That's why I found people like us, they grew organization, okay, in a much wider space. But people more talented than us in the East don't have the space given to them by the government. That's why they can't. That does not mean that they are less than you. No, they are far more better than myself. But they don't have the space. I give you the story of when we started in the 80s. It's a trust between the founder or the chief executive and the trustees. They give him the space, in my case. And when the space was there, we managed to be ahead of all other organizations from the very beginning. If the trustees become nosy, nagging, inquisitive, ignorant, and try to go into everything without knowledge, they will cripple the executives. It has to be the element of trust. Also, government has to trust you. Why should I be working with you? The whole world is about Islamophobia. It's about counter-terrorism, and behind terrorism is Islam, and you are a Muslim organization working in Muslim majority countries. You have to build your credibility before the government, before the establishment, because you look at two things in the country. There's something called government and something called the establishment. Nobody can know the establishment, but it's there, behind the scene. But you see the government, you see the prime minister, you see the ministers, you see whatever it is, the civil servant, but with the establishment is behind the government. See, when you look at this, whom you see, you don't see this. You see this. So, decision to work with you is coming from the establishment. That's why when you think that you have taken a photograph with the prince, who was a prince in the good old days, now become a king, because you came next to him in a gala. Yes, I was with him. No, you were not with him. You took your photograph next to him. But if you want to be with him, go to his office. Because there's a system of due diligence to allow you to open his door and have a meeting with him. When you clear all these sort of things, we went to Canada in 2002 and went to register Islamic Leaf. And went to the lawyer. I gave him two files, one of the projects and one of our meeting with VIPs. He looked at the project, he said, okay, yeah, all right, okay, fine. What next? What is this? I said, look at it. He found the queen, he found the prince, he found the prime minister. He said, is this what we want? That means that you have been clearly screened and scanned to take the photograph with them. You have been vetted. That's why when you do that, why Tony Blair, not Tony Blair, who was Cameron? Why Cameron mentioned Islamic Leaf during the 2006 in Lebanon and the others? Is it 2006? Was it Cameron or somebody else? Huh? Not Cameron. Anyway, somebody was there in Lebanon. Huh? Was it still Blair? Okay, maybe Blair. Okay. Blair mentioned my name. You know when? At the time of the conflict in Iraq and the takeover Baghdad, in a press conference, and we had an office opened there. Okay, and actually one of our staff was taken by the security and nearly to the gunpoint. He was gone in Abu Ghraib. You know Abu Ghraib? He was put in the prison. Mustafa Osman was taken with Khalid Khalifa and with Abdullah. Abdullah was brother from Shia background. Khalid Khalifa was Egyptian. Mustafa Osman was Egyptian. But they put them in Abu Ghraib. You don't, as a prime minister, play games with our names while in a conflict area. You're a part of it. You risk our lives. And this happened, unfortunately, at that time. But alhamdulillah, Mustafa Osman came out Khalid Khalifa came out, Abdul Ilah came out, and nothing. But it's very serious when you use your name for a press conference at the wrong time. Okay? Anything else? Let me tell you something else, which a lot of us not doing it. How much is the budget of research studies in our organization? Cross board. How much is the study of the impactful media that will make to change the mindset of the community? We only make media, video films, or leaflets to raise fund. That's right. How much budget we make to impact the drama? You know, the wealthiest institution of having the knowledge of the community is us. Whether you are a relief organization or educational organization or social, because you deal with all these problems, wealth of knowledge. Do we invest in drama? Do we invest in understanding the culture of the local community and protecting it from other culture or the values? We don't. We don't believe in culture. We only believe in how much money you can raise. And this is what the trustees are always focused. 10 million, 7 million, 20 million. What? What's next? What's the impact? Do we spend money to measure the impact of our projects? You have an educational program in any city in Pakistan. Call the city. Where is the most successful area in Pakistan? Which city?
Kashmir, basically.
Okay, whatever, Karachi. Okay, you spend this year or last year or 5 years ago a cumulative budget of about 3, 4, 5 million. What is the impact? Impact is not in how many schools you build. Impact is how much the people will impact the community. I learned from Pakistan a lot of things. In Kashmir, in Balandri and Rawalakot, you know the mountains of Kashmir, 2,000, 3,000 meter high, whatever it is. And the young girl at that time used to climb up and down the mountain with a jar. Money here?
No money.
No money. Why?
It's digital.
You know the girl, the poor girl used to go down with this bucket on her head. Can you take my photo? It's not haram. It's not. Carry on. This is the girl, huh? Yes, Sarah? Lady Sarah?
Just 1 second, Doctor. Let's just get the logo.
Okay.
That's what marketing.
Soon we build the reservoir on the top of the mountain. The girls stop going down the mountain. The number of enrollment of girls in the school went up. The wife at home or the mother have more time to do product for the local market. Maybe samosa, maybe katlima, maybe whatever you call it, and this could be a part of the economy of the family. The cleanliness became more. Some vegetation being planted in front of the house. Okay? The number of skin diseases become less. This is the impact of having your water tanks on the top of the mountain. One of the best witness in China, when we made the same project in this area, and nearly over 100 years old, and this was actually one of the northwest area. She was nearly blind, and she said, please take me to see the water coming to our house. This was her dream. And they were holding her by the hand, coming to see the tap, bringing the water. What we have done, just take the water from the river with the generator to 3 generators at 3 levels. This was her dream, to see that she had water at home. See their dreams and see our dreams. This is the difference. This is the impact. Okay. Do we measure the impact? Do we put on our budget the impact in 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years on the community? If we say this to the donor, said no, forget it. If we said admin cost, some donors say, I don't want the admin cost, especially when you go to the Middle East. 0 admin cost or 1% or 2%. What 1% will do? When I keep following the donor culture, in the case of Syria, to whoever asked the question, up till now, the United Nations still distributing handout of food. They don't want it since 2016. This is donor culture, donor philosophy of thinking, which sometimes could be very destructive. Yes. Any other question, brothers and sisters, after you have seen the packet? By the way, oh, this is too heavy, huh? Oh, this is empty. Somebody lighter, give me this box.
This is heavy.
In the Birmingham Central Mosque, I used to hold a box like this after Eid prayer. It was heavy, empty. I am very proud, here I have to talk about myself, of being the first in the country to hold a box like this outside the mosque in the 80s. Janda, jaldi, what else? In nearly less than 2 hours, at that time, I raised 1,500 pounds of coins. Alhamdulillah, now it becomes plethora everywhere. So I am the first, thank you. First bigger. Alhamdulillah. Any other questions? Any other comment? Any other experience?
The statement that you made on the front of the book about being a servant to...
This is not me. Somebody said it. I don't believe in it. It's too much.
I have another question as well.
Okay, so too much for anybody to talk about himself this way. Just forget it.
What ignited the zeal and the passion within yourself to kind of serve the Ummah? Was it a specific incident that was kind of the trigger point, or was it a build-up?
The trigger point was we discovered after the 1983 famine in Ethiopia, in Eritrea and Tigray, actually that we don't, as Muslims, have any community organization to represent Muslims or to raise funds for one. Especially when I travel to Sudan, in Eritrea, it's about 70 to 80% of them are Muslims. But you know how the media can show the issue. We said we need to do something because we are a part of UK. And alhamdulillah, a lot of our organizations, local ones, international ones, are secular or Christian or whatever other faith. And we need to do something as well. This is how we started. There's no planning, no strategy, no budget, no funding, no address, no registration, nothing. This is how we started. Extremely simple. But we were focusing on one objective. Objective, help. The word help was our strategy. Okay? The motivation comes from being with people. 2 levels of being with people. Being with people when we used to go to stay in the mosque during Ramadan, when we expose ourselves to the community on the street. Some people used to kick us outside the mosque. Because at that time, the only people who stand in front of the mosque are the beggars. Okay? You could not be able to see that young people who are studying the doctorate of medicine, doctor of of chemistry, are the beggars themselves on the road. Okay? This is locally from the community. Internationally, when you go and visit the needy community, the right holders. They give you the story. They give you the power. They give you the vision. They give you the idea. And they motivate you. So be with your community on the local ground here. Then be elevated when you go to Pakistan. Don't go to Islamabad and Karachi only. There's a lot of township that you need to visit. There's a lot of houses. We used to go and visit the houses of the displaced people in Bosnia, in Sudan, in different parts of Somalia. The camps. When you are there, you feel that Allah has privileged you of not putting you at this situation. And He made you to witness the situation, try to uplift and elevate and save them from such hardship. This motivates you. Keep motivating you. At my young age now, since I'm younger than you, how old are you now?
25.
Oh no, I'm older than you. I'm 27. I'm older than you.
A day over 23.
Eh? Yes. And all the girls are just over 20. 20 years was 1 month, was 2 months, 3 months. Yes, but for me, I'm just a little bit older than you, 27. Okay. This keeps you going. You know, some of the time, when you have an idea, I said this to one of our sisters in the office. We were in a meeting. I said, Sister, Asma, said what? What do you think if somebody does not have shoes, is wearing a patchy clothes, staying in a room with no doors, the window is broken, no electricity, no toilet. And one day he looked from the window and looked at the stars and the moon and the sun, said, I can change the world. What do you think of him? Oh, you know what she said? She said, he is a madman. Everybody in the room was laughing. Laughing. Ha ha ha. She thought that she did something wrong. The woman was, what's wrong? You know, she told her, you know who is this madman? It's you. This is how Prophet ﷺ was sitting at the shade of Kaaba and seeing what he needs to reach with his mission. This is what was the mission of Musa alayhi salam. When he came to try to save the children of Israel from the tyranny of the Pharaoh. And he failed. After taking them across the sea, then they started to worship the golden calf. You know, all this what happened to Nuh alayhi salam when he built the ship in the middle of the desert and people were laughing at him. Ship in the middle of the desert? Ha ha ha, what are you doing? Then he took everything, every being, birds, trees, animals, insects, human being, and they were saved from what you call it at the time, the flood. Then afterwards, they backstab him and left the religion, and so on. This is your dream. That's why a relief or social worker like you should be dreaming of how can he save, how can she save her community. It's entirely up to you and what Allah has given you. You can save yourself, then you can save your family, have more ability, your community, more ability, your nation, more ability, the country, more ability, the humanity. It depends on how much you can carry on your shoulder of responsibility. This is where you need to look at your job, not as a job, sisters and brothers. It is a mission. It's the message. It's a part of the continuity of the prophetical messages of Jesus, Moses, Muhammad, Ibrahim, and Nuh, the greatest 5 prophets. You are a part of this movement. You are a part of their journey. All of them and the others came to save humanity. Be one of them. Be one of them at the age of 25, and I'm still at the age of 27.
Inshallah.
Okay? Thank you. Yes, brother? More questions? What are you writing, sister? You are spying on me.
I was writing down some of the things that you said.
Yeah, thank you.
That's it.
You want to ask any questions?
Well, I was writing some of the quotes you were saying about international organizations providing aid that doesn't corrupt the organization you're impacting, but actually helps it help itself. So I guess, so when you said don't let international organizations touch the ground because they'll spoil it, and don't do it for them, do it with them. I'd like to hear, I guess, your opinion on that a little bit more.
See, my belief, sister, what's your name?
Annie.
Annie. You know, I've got 6 Annies in my prayer to pray for them. You could be number 7. We can add Anushka as well. Anyway, and add Sarah. I have Sarah as well. And we can add Joariya as well.
Yeah, that's fine. Let's all be in it.
You know, Joariya is our mother. Is that right? Tell them the story.
It's fine.
We have tried the international organization coming with a parachute in the 70s and put the things, and it failed. And it failed. Here we need to have a mutual respect at the beginning of the 21st century. That those people in the local community in Pakistan or India or Bangladesh or Bosnia or Mali or are talented. Why don't you empower me? Why don't you let me to understand how can I build my organization and be accountable to my government as well as to the international community? That's your role. Your role is to use me. Your role is to discover my talent. Your education is about raising the standard of life of people through empowering them, to enable them. Why don't you come and tell me how to build a market, local market? All these kind of things. What I want from you with the technology and with the ability to protect me is to empower me. And what we get as one of the outcomes of the World Humanitarian Summit in 2016 is localization. 25 to 30% should be funding the local organization directly. Up till now, it doesn't. We made promises, but we failed to apply them. I want you, when you go to the village, you said, I'm here for 5 years. And in these 5 years, I empower you to stand up on your feet and to make your own product. And if you want me to promote this product abroad, I can connect you with some actually people to promote it for you, especially if they are doing the handicraft or the rugs or whatever it is. That's your role. Because the civil liberty space is smaller than your civil liberty space. The access to knowledge is less than your access to knowledge. The access to funding is less than your access to funding. It's where you fill the gaps. So no, I'm not saying that, but this is where you become the fat and I become the kiss. Is that right? The fat, which is funding, advocacy, and training, and the kiss, knowledge-based, innovative, sustainable solution. Thank you, Sister Annie. Thinking seriously, huh?
Any other questions, comments?
Just one more, if you don't mind. So, that's something near 4-decade journey of relief work. What's your greatest regret?
Greatest regret could be we had no enough time to do more. You see, the more you know, the more you learn, the more you find solution and great idea, the more you regret that you have not done it. Nothing is enough. And there is no ceiling for humanitarian work. There's no ceiling whatsoever. It's always rising. If you put a ceiling for yourself, you will be under the roof of such a ceiling. There is no ceiling for the thinking, for the philosophy, for the culture, for the values, for the innovation, for the motivation. There's no ceiling. If you tell me, Brother Jangir and Sister Juwairiya, my sky is the limit, I said, you are wrong. You are wrong. My sky is my beginning. I'm standing on a planet called Earth to see a universe which has more than 2 trillion galaxies. And my job is to discover them. And this is the knowledge that Allah put in the heart of Adam when He taught him all the names of the objects. To discover the universe. So the planet Earth is something here. Sky is how? Let me go to the top, the roof of the Earth, to see what's there. What is there is the universe. So don't put ceiling. When you do well, somebody else will come and take it and do better. And keep going on. That's why the development of science and technology did not stop. The algorithm theory, Al-Khwarizmi, which was a Khwarizm from Khwarizm, which is near Pakistan, started maybe 1,000 years ago. Where it is now? Where's your telephone? It's here. All the apps come from this man who invented algebra. Algebra? And all these kind of things. But this is the journey. How many scientists went through this journey? What journey you will pave to leave for the community behind you? Khwarizmi did it. Even we discover nowadays, it's not Newton who discovered the gravity. Somebody discovered the electricity. It's not. Somebody else. I'm not trying to be politicizing the science and technology. But history was written wrongly. You know what? What's your name, sister?
Insia. Insia.
Ensia. Sister Ensia, if you don't know your history, you'll be weightless, shapeless. Because who is my father? I don't know. Who is my grandfather? I don't know. What is the value of my ancestor? I don't know. Don't let anybody to wipe or delete your history. I will be shapeless and weightless. Very important to go back to understand how the history has been written and by whom. Those great people, you know, Pierre Curie, which is the husband of Marie Curie. Well, most of you know Marie Curie. In 1903, him and his wife won the Nobel Peace Prize. Okay? In physics. He mentioned that what we have received from the Arabs in Andalusia, 30 books, enabled us to divide the atom. What will happen if Isabella and Ferdinando, the kings and the queen of these areas, did not burn all the libraries? We have all these books. We're not talking about Arabs or non-Arabs, or Muslim, non-Muslim. He's talking about knowledge. If they did not burn all the books, we could have been, listen to this, walking between the galaxies. Now, Sister Anushka wanted to meet Brother Muhammad. She will call you from Mars to Jupiter. Muhammad, I'll come at 5 o'clock to have some cup of tea from Costa. Do you have Costa there? And she will take her vehicle to go from Jupiter to what you call it? Where are you? Mars. This what's his name said, Pierre Curie said, could have been walking, not even driving something, walking between moons and stars. Try to build on the credibility of the people who are before you and acknowledge them. Thank you.
Jazakallah, thank you.
Anything else?
Thank you very much.
And just before we close, I have a non-related question. I read somewhere that you had half of your family looking for you when you were very young. Because you,
Oh, yes,
I
yes,
want to
yes.
ask you absconded and you watched.
What's absconded means? I speak English that I don't know.
You had disappeared.
I disappeared, yeah.
What motivated you to watch this movie called Mother India?
I went,
I want to understand what was so compelling.
at that time I was at the age of 8 or 9, something like this.
Good movie.
And the ticket for the cinema was 1 pence. Sometimes 1 pence or 2 pence. Sometimes if you go to balcony, it's 3 pence. If you go to lounge, it's 5 pence. And I paid 2 pence. 2 pence was just 2 days. What do you call it? Not earning. It's my
Pocket money.
pocket money. I was not working. And it was actually, if you go to this lowest level of the cinema, which is in front of the screen, and you will be allowed to stay or to see the movie once or twice or 3 times. I saw it the first time, the second time, and the third time. Then I slept. I slept in the cinema.
And the movie itself is long.
No, the movie is about nearly 2-3 hours.
3 hours.
So I actually slept. And after midnight, the cleaners and the people said, "What are you doing here?" Out. I woke up disoriented, didn't know where to go. At that time, there was no electricity on the roads. Okay, there was no big. I came out. I come back and say, where is my house? Right, left. And I can't see. It's black, dark. And I was going to cry. Nearly going to be in tears because I don't know where to go. Everything is black. Allah gave me one of the people who looked at me and told me, "Sunny, what are you doing here?" I said, "I don't know." I didn't want to tell him I was in the movie till midnight. Said, "Where do you want to go?" I said, "I want to go home." He said, "Straight." He told me, "Who's your father?" I said, "My father is Sheikh so and so and so." He said, "Okay, our Sheikh."
You understand why you did a cinema.
There was no television at that time. No television. He told me, "Yes, I know your father." He was one because my father was an imam of one of the big mosques in Cairo. Okay, with a PhD, equivalent to PhD, became an imam. At the time, he took me to the family and they went back. My mother was, Bismillah, mashallah, the leader. You see the cousins and nephews and everybody everywhere. The whole family looking for me. And they came with this sheikh and I expected to be beaten. At that time, he used to be beaten by what? By a stick. Even in the school, we used to have the stick. We used to have the ruler. You know the ruler where you measure? And with the edge. Sometime like this, sometime or cry. This made us men and men's and women's with Z. Now if I do this to you, they put me in jail, isn't it? At the time, wallahi, we used to be beaten by what do you call it, rubber. You know when you get these things, and on what? On the feet, and the demonstration. Somebody used to hold the legs, the feet of like this, and with either the stick or the rubber. You failed. I was expecting to have this welcome party after midnight. But my father said, "Okay, fine, go sleep." My mother was, he saved me. He always saved me. Because my mother is boom. She can actually, we were talking about the pinching this morning. The mothers in the good old days used to pinch the ears, used to pinch here, then used to pinch somewhere here. And when her hand goes down, we cry. They have got very powerful fingers. And they get used to be treated. But this is Mother India movie.
Mother India.
Alhamdulillah. I can't remember the names of the actors and actresses.
Iqbal.
Huh?
Nargis.
Nargis?
Yeah.
Oh.
It's a good movie. It's a a good movie. You did right.
Of course, that's why I was going to be beaten.
But I can understand you're going to tell Sheikh. Your father being
I can't tell the Sheikh that I was in the movie. But believe me, I just conclude with one thing. During Ramadan, we used to play football. You know, the football, we have to have the socket ball. Socks, no socket. You know, we used to get the socks
Make it into a
and put inside in the sponge. Before the sponge, we used to rub the sponge together with actually, what do you call it, thread to make it rounded. Then put some glue on top of it. Then put it in the socks and stitches and play with it. Socks, balls. Huh? Socks football. And in the evening, because there was no light in the avenue, because our house was actually at the corner of like Main Street, and the door was from the avenue. And the avenue did not have any light at night. You know what crazy young people like us used to do? Get this ball, football, put it in kerosene or oil, petrol. Seriously.
I play football with it. Like,
Yeah, and you can see that the football, and the poor goalkeeper. You can imagine. This was our fun, not going to the mosque for Taraweeh like you do now, but going to play with this, firing. Socks football. Yeah.
Thank you. No, I just wanted to thank Dr. Hani. I mean, you're an institution in yourself, mashallah, and I think all the words and all the statements and all the quotes that you've given, I think they'll be very, very useful for the team. And alhamdulillah, we've got a very hardworking bunch of people contributing their time and efforts to a big cause, and obviously education being one of them. So I'm sure they're all appreciated. Your input. and
I
insight.
need to thank you. You came very early. I need to thank you because you invited me. To be very honest, I learned more than you did. Because you exposed me to my knowledge, to my experience, if it's still valuable or value or not. And I believe that I did not fail today, as I failed trying to propose. Inshallah. Or I failed trying to succeed. Or I failed trying to get my license, for the driving license. But today, alhamdulillah, I succeed, and you are stars by yourself. Don't need anybody to tell you that you are a star or I make you a star. Say thank you. I believe that I have it. Do something else.
Jazakallah khair on behalf of everyone for your time and what we've learned. And inshallah, I know this is the first time you've come to this building as Reed, but inshallah we'll hopefully
Next time I come as right.
yes.
What a silly joke. you know, one day I was in the Yemeni conference 2 months ago in Istanbul. And people were asleep, and I was supposed to be chairing the last session. The man in charge told me, everybody's asleep.
Tired.
What to do? I told him, I will create the silliest jokes. I invented about 5 or 6 or 7 silly jokes. Then I started to laugh on myself. Then everybody started to laugh. So if you ask me to give you a silly joke, we can stay till tomorrow.
I know you have.
Huh? There's no time. Because people want to go for lunch. Don't stop them from lunch.
No, but inshallah, I think, for the future as well, we'll definitely make sure that this is the first but not the last visit. Again, Jazakallah khair to you and the brother for coming and giving us your time. I'm sure a lot of us have learned a lot of lessons and not just lessons, but also insights into things that we can take away and think about. So Jazakallah khair on behalf of everyone. Inshallah, we look forward to seeing you again soon.
To make him happy before I go.
Yes.
Somebody went to buy to buy shoes. He found the socks. Why don't you laugh?
He is the master
I
of
forgot it was a silly joke.
dad jokes.
It has to be a silly joke. Anyway, somebody bought tight shoes and he has to walk in it to make it wide. You have to laugh.
I'm laughing on the inside.
You've got him going. He's on the road. So before there is 3, 4, 5, 6, I think we should.
Alas, who was in charge of the recording? You? Just stop it.
Jazakallah khair, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you.
Then you try.
Yeah, I will.